Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, Abeer's Book Reviews, and today I'll be reviewing this book, Rules for Radicals by Saul D. Alinsky, a pragmatic primer for realistic radicals. So this book is, as the title suggests, it's a handbook or a field guide for radicals. It's basically Saul D. Alinsky's, about the author, he's very famous political analyst, consultant. Pretty sure he worked on both the Hillary and the Obama campaigns. So he's pretty well known within the American politic. But this book is fundamentally it's about power. It's a practical guide on how political and social movements actually work in the real world. It's not hypothesizing or fantasizing about what should happen in the ideal world or what should happen in a perfect world. Instead, Saul Alinsky is more focused on what does happen in the real world and how does it happen. It explains how this sort of subordinate, right, to use a pejorative, how the subordinate social classes with less political power, less monetary power, how they can challenge the people in positions of more political and social and monetary power. So Saul Alinsky puts forward a lot of interesting points in this book. One of them being that politics is not a clean or polite game at all. This book was written in 1971, but that statement has only become increasingly more true in recent times, at least for like the past decade almost. Politics has gone from this, back in the day, it used to be this very highly refined culture of, well-spoken, well-articulated bureaucrat types, to now it's much more a game of the common man and who can appeal to the common man. And the common man, a lot of the times, is not the most polite or well-spoken or well-articulated person you're going to find. So the book touches upon that quite early on, especially, given that it's written in 1971. I think Saul Alinsky was quite early to that particular trend. And another thing which is mentioned in the book is that it's very pragmatic. It's very pragmatist driven. So a point that's made in the book is that morals are secondary to results. You need results first, according to whatever you want to do. It might be for the greater good of the population, generally speaking, and agreed upon by all sides of the political spectrum. Or what actually happens a majority of the time is your desired results are going to be highly contentious. They're going to be highly divisive, but you still want to achieve those. And he says that morality comes only second to those results. And you can't be, you cannot take the moral high ground or be in a position of moral superiority without actually having produced any results. And that might make it quite uncomfortable for some people to read. This viewpoint of putting aside your morality until you have something which proves that you can get stuff done. That sort of sentiment. A lot of people are going to disagree with that. It doesn't really resonate well with a lot of people. And I think that's true for the book in general. It's very direct, it's very provocative, and it's very blunt. It's not like your traditional, a lot of the books when they talk about politics, everyone wants to seem like this all-knowing savant, this great storehouse of knowledge, and articulate it in a way that's, sometimes it gets confusing. But Saul Alinsky, he keeps it very blunt, he keeps it very direct, and I think that also keeps you engaged in the book for an extended period of time. All these examples he gives of how people in authority maintain their control, how fear works, how movements get started, why they fail, how they fail, and when they fail. and and why these movements or government functioning starts breaking down when what you care about is looking virtuous instead of being effective. Now you see that stance now becoming increasingly popular in modern day politics across the spectrum, least of all in the U.S., where the body politic has been reduced down to who looks the best in terms of what their policy entails, or whose policy seems the most appealing to me. What is the most virtuous thing, or who is the most virtuous candidate? This era of virtue signaling in politics. Saul Alinsky has been arguing against that. He says that first things first is to be effective and to be pragmatic and get results. So it's not a neutral book at all. He does take sides. He takes sides very clearly and very heavily, and the views will not appeal to everyone, certainly. But I think regardless of where you fall on the political spectrum, even if you very strongly disagree with him, it's an imperative that you read this book. It's super useful. It teaches you how narratives are shaped, and if you are into politics, it teaches you how your opponents are weakened. It reveals the psychology of mass political movements and why, when, and how they fail. How public pressure is created within on the people in authority, and how you can challenge them to get your own results. It's sort of an uncovering of the background mechanisms around activism, media influence, conflict in politics, and it's a very good aggregate of all of those. Brings them together quite nicely, and once you read it, you're gonna start noticing certain patterns and certain things in your functioning in your everyday life, and you're gonna be able to draw parallels from what you're seeing to what you read, and that might prove useful to a lot of people in a lot of cases. But yeah, that's it for the book. Here it is once again. Rules for Radicals by Saul D. Alinsky. Now, if you enjoyed this review, make sure you hit the like button. If you're new and haven't already done so, subscribe to the channel to keep receiving more videos like this one. I've been Abeer Rao, and thanks for watching.